Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and I have another game that I picked up from the Steam Summer Sale. You're going to probably see a lot of these videos coming up over the next few weeks of just all the various games that I've picked up due to the Steam Summer Sale. And this is another one of those examples. This is Car Mechanic Simulator. Complete Edition 2014. And those of you that are fans of my channel and have followed the automation campaign series that I do, this is another automotive-based game. Now, personally, me background-wise, I have worked on some cars in my real life, and although I'm not going to say I'm a very experienced mechanic and I know everything there is to know about cars, I know what most of the bits and bobs are and where they are and kind of how you would work on them pretty much. But I also understand that this is a video game and they're not going to be 100% true to life, so I can't expect that. But let's go ahead and get into the game and let's see what it's all about. So this is very much a first impression video, which most of these are. It looks like I have to create a profile here, so we'll start one up. I'm going to be Mouse Gunner, as that is my name. There you go, Mouse Gunner. I'm going to hit save on that. Alright, so I'm choosing that. Alright, looks like we can play now. Well, why not jump into the career? That seems like the best way to go, although I am aware of this game a little bit, although I am doing a first impressions video, that I know there was some, I guess DLC you would call it, added on with the 4x4, and I'm not exactly sure what this one is. Maybe more performance-oriented cars, but in any case, because I have the complete edition, I believe I'm getting all of these add-ons as well, but let's go ahead and jump into the career mode. Not exactly sure what kind of loading times we can expect out of this game. If this is a rather long loading time, I may just edit this out. No, that wasn't too bad. Alright, so we're going to have a little bit of a, excuse me, tutorial here. So, welcome to Car Mechanic Simulator 2014. It looks like mostly WASD to move around, and we use a left mouse key to select things. That's left mouse key, left mouse button, really. To select things, that's pretty self-explanatory. So it wants me to go over to the radio and click on that. Alright, so let's find our radio. It's over there. That's pretty easy to find. Maybe a little bit too much mouse sensitivity. I apologize if I'm making anybody sick. So there's the radio. Alright, so when we have this little symbol, there's a action that we can do. Okay, so we need to go to the car lifter, which is over there, apparently. I did turn off the in-game music, by the way. I'm going to see if I can... Doesn't look like I can do anything with the options, so I guess we're just going to have to deal with the mouse sensitivity. Alrighty. So... do we left-click now? Okay. Operate. Alright, there we go. Alright, that's as much as we get for a tutorial, so I guess we're going to have to figure everything else out on our own. It seems pretty self-explanatory. You go to what you want to click on, you click on it, it does whatever action it needs to do, and we have a little bit more of a load time here. But I did turn off the in-game music, so you know. Okay, so we have our first job. Your first customer has arrived. The job description and goals are listed in the repair order. You can always return here, blah, blah, blah. Okay, route mouse button to get to some kind of, I guess that pulls up the order that I have here. Alright, so what we have is we need to replace the front brake pads and check the front brake discs. That's a pretty basic job. That's something I could do in real life. So we have a Genesis town, so make-believe make and model there. Although technically the Genesis is a model of a particular make, but they're using Genesis as a make. 2006, alright, all that stuff. Can you change the brake pads on the front axle and check the condition of the brake disc, please? I will be back tomorrow to collect my car. I I doubt very much that, usually speaking, a customer would be so specific on what they want to have done. But I guess that does happen occasionally. And it looks like we'll get $500 for doing that. So let's go ahead and all right. So you have to replace brake pads. Go to the PC and buy 4 new brake pads from the car parts shop. Well, should we do that first? I guess it wants us to do that first. All right. I'm assuming that's going to be the 2 brake pads we need per each front wheel. So we want car parts, not used car parts. Why would you use used brake pads? That doesn't make any sense. So we want brake pads. There we go. We get $50 a piece. So are you sure you want to buy? Yes. Do I have to do that 4 times? Looks like I do. That's 3 and 4. Alright, so we have to go to the first wheel to start this up. So we get a little bit more of a tutorial here. And we have to do the disassembly of the brakes here. So how do I get out of here? Escape? Okay, there was no control prompt there, but I kind of just figured it out. So do I have to lift it up, or do I do that before I lift it? It looks like... Alright, I accidentally clicked out of the the window there. I apologize for that. Even though I'm doing this in full screen, I am having issues with going off the window, I guess, or off the screen onto my secondary screen. Alright, you can perform 3 main actions in the mechanic mode. Disassembling parts, assembling parts, examining parts, and what have you. Alright. Alright, disassemble mode, and we want to get the wheel off. Got it. So, this zooms in and out. Q and E is also zoom, and WASD rotates. Okay. So... Alright, so I just left-clicked on that a couple times, and then we just hold down our left mouse button on the bolts here to remove them from the wheel. Okay, that seems pretty self-explanatory. There goes the wheel. Alright. So, click on that. It says condition unknown. Alright, well, we'll take off the caliper first. Alright. So we need to take out a couple bolts there. Alright, there goes the caliper. Of course, this is, again, simplifying things. You're not having to worry about it hooking up the brake caliper. It just doesn't disappear like that. There's also the brake line that's attached to the brake caliper and everything that you would have to be concerned about. But, again, simplification, that's fine. So we're just going to, I guess, take these pads off without even looking at them. Alright. No, I didn't want to click on that. Alright, so having a little bit of issue there, getting the right thing. Alright. Alright, old brake pads, time to assemble one, switch the assemble mode, and mount the new brake. So I'm assuming I click up here to switch. Or, oh, there we go, right mouse. So we want to go to assemble, disassemble. And we click. And we want to put the brake pads on that are good, right? How do you cycle through this? Alright, so those are the bad brake pads. I'm still not sure exactly how you cycle through this. Alright, well, doesn't matter, I guess. Click on that. And click on our other one. Alright, you really got to get the camera on the right angle to do this. There we go. Yeah, I remember he asked us to do that. If you know the condition of parts, you can repair wear on them. Now, every part can be examined by hand. Some need to be examined in other ways. Okay. Alright, so we want to switch to the examine mode. And we want to look at the brake disc. I would have done that before putting the brake pads on, because kind of in the way now, but alright. Alright, they're 62%. I don't know if that means we need to fix them or not. I'm going to assume not, because they are not severely worn. So we're just going to go ahead and switch back to assemble mode and put on our brake caliper. There it is. And put our bolts back in. There you go. And put on our tire, or wheel. There we go. And put those in, and that's one brake. Done. Again, pretty simple job. Changing brake pads is not all that difficult in real life either. The most difficult part is just taking the wheel off, honestly. Alright, so that should be that. So I'm guessing escape to get out of there. There we go. It would be nice if they gave you the button prompts of how to get out of things. And I clicked off the screen again. Alright. And we want to click on that. There we go. So yeah, if you're thinking that working on cars is this easy, it's not quite this easy, but brake jobs are not hard, so not that difficult of a thing to do. I mean, it helps to know what you're doing, obviously. Alright. And again, we're not really checking what the brake pad condition is, but the customer said to change them regardless, so might as well look at the disc while we're here. Alright, and its condition, about 61%, about the same as the other one. So that's fine. So let's switch to our assemble mode and slap on some brake pads, good ones. I mean, at the end of the day, if a customer comes in and says, change my brake pads, you look at the brake pads, they look okay. I mean, you could advise them. Maybe you don't need to do that, but if they insist, then, they're the paying customer. You do what they say. Alright, there you go. As long as it's not, of course, unsafe to do what they tell you to do, because you do have liability in that regard. At least in the US you do. Alright, and there's our job done. That should be everything. So let's look at our order. Oh, it looks like it's already telling us we're good. Congratulations, you repaired your first car. There are many more to come. If you want to finish the current job, open the form and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm having a slight issue here where I don't have a cursor, so I can't close this. Hello? Oh? Escape? Uh-oh. So me hitting the right mouse button at the same time as this popped up was bad, because now I can't get out of it. Okie dokie. Let's click on this, maybe? Yeah, nothing is working right now. Alright, well, we did our first job. Unfortunately, I can't do anything else. This is... Maybe if I... Nope. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to end up having to close out of the game here, so we're going to have a slight pause here in the recording. Alright, we're back. Now, unfortunately I had to shut down the game because there was no way for me to continue with that bug, I guess you would call it. And as much as that doesn't really show this game in the best light, I honestly am kind of surprised considering that this is the complete edition. I thought that they would have fixed that issue by now. I was aware that this game when it came out, had a number of issues, but I would have thought they would have gotten around to fixing some of these issues by this time, this version of the game. In any case, I guess that is seemingly not the case in some regards. But let's go ahead and do another job. Hopefully we can show this in a little bit better light. Now, fortunately, I was able to take that opportunity of shutting down the game to go into the options menu and get rid of the pretty horrific mouse sensitivity. It was just far too high. So I was able to bring that down, and I was also able to lock the cursor into the full screen window there, so it's not wandering off screen and clicking on other things. That was another option that was available to me. So I was able to do that. So let's go ahead and look at our order to see what our new job is. So we have replace air filter, replace oil filter, and replace fuel filter. So all three filters. The oil filter is a pretty common job. The other two, not as much, but it's still things that you have to do. Out of the bunch, I don't think I've ever replaced a fuel filter before, but air filter and oil filter are not that hard of jobs to do, at least in theory. It depends on your car. Oil filter can be a little tricky if your engine is a little, crammed into your engine bay, or just the place it is a little awkward. I have experienced that before, but I don't think we'll have issues, this being a video game. Alright, so he says, I last had my filters checked over a year ago. Replace them all again, please. Alright, so we have $300 that we're going to get for this job. Now, one thing that I think you can do, we're going to need filters anyway, so let's get on the computer. I think you can sell old car parts. Not exactly sure how you do that, though. At least that was something you could do in the old version of the game. Doesn't look like you can do that in this version. Maybe they thought that was a little too gamey. Unless I'm missing something. I mean, there's a bank loan. I don't know how to get to my inventory. Maybe it's in my inventory where I can sell. I could have swore you did it online, but any case, we need the different filters. So we need an air filter. We need a oil filter and a fuel filter. I'm trying to keep my eye out for the fuel filter. I know what to look for an oil filter as far as visually speaking, but I don't know about necessarily the fuel filter, how they're going to represent it in the game. There it is. Alright, so we got one of those, and finally we need an oil filter. I haven't seen one yet. Oh, this is in alphabetical order. That makes it easier. Alright, so there's your oil filter. Alright, that's everything. So we can get out of this. Let's see if we can pull up our inventory here. So, show inventory. Okay, yeah, want to break? Yeah, so I can sell these old brake pads that we had from last mission for $4. That gives me a little bit of money back. Alright. So, now we need to find where all those things are. So, we may have to jack the car up, I would imagine, but let's open up our hood and see if it's in here anyway. So the oil filter is going to be, it could be under this cap here. I mean, there's different ways to do oil filters. Alright, no, I don't want to do that. That was it trying to, oh, I think it's this, actually. There we go. As I said, there's different ways to do oil filters. This is one way of doing it. I would say that's probably not the norm that you would see. Usually oil filter will like stick off the side of your engine. But again, it's not always the case. Sometimes they're like this. So take the old oil filter out. And then we're going to want to go back to assembly mode. And then put the new oil filter in. Yeah, that oil filter wasn't doing too good. Put our oil filter cap back on. And that's that. Alright, so apparently we could do that through the hood. You wouldn't have been able... Well, with this type you could have. But with the other types of oil filters, like the ones I said that would essentially stick off the side of your engine, you would have to jack up the car. But apparently that's not the case in this instance. Air filter is going to be in here too. So actually I need to go back in here. There's the air filter right here, but we're probably going to have to take apart some of these things here first. Let's see if it lets us take this off yet. No, I didn't think so. Do we have to take this part off? No, it looks like we have to take this part off first. Okay. A lot of air filters are made so that you don't really have to do all this to get to the air filter, but some, I guess, you might have to. So it depends, again, on the design of your air filter. But some, it's just essentially a cover that you have to remove, some similar to what we were about to do. And then you can slot in the new air filter. Again, air filter jobs, not particularly that hard. There you go. There's your air filter. Get rid of that. It looked pretty dirty, and it looked like it said it was 11%. So now we just have to switch to assembly mode, put in a new air filter. There we go. And put in our air filter cover, which has a number of bolts. There you go. And again, I mean, this is somewhat of a simplification, but these jobs I'm doing right now are not necessarily hard. Now, of course, with the oil filter, if it was one of those oil filters that was off the side of your engine, you would have had to drain your oil first. Otherwise, the second you take that oil filter off, you just have oil start dumping on you. So again, this is kind of a simplification. They might have used that kind of oil filter on purpose so that you wouldn't have to go all those steps. As I said, I think that style of oil filter is a little bit... Oh, come on. Alright. So apparently don't hit the right mouse button on accident. Alright, so it's having issues with this bolt here. There we go. And finally we need this bit of hose here, tube, whatever. There we go, that's done. Now we can escape, and we don't need this up anymore. Now the fuel filter, I'm pretty sure is going to be in the back, and we're probably going to have to lift the car for that. So let's go ahead and lift it up. Okay, fuel tank's probably somewhere in the back here. That looks like our fuel tank right here. Yep, that's it. Spin her around. It might be on the front end of the fuel tank. There it is. It's right there. Of course, we don't have the fuel lines to contend with or anything. Again, oversimplification. And we see it looks all rusty and nasty, so that probably does need replaced. And then we need to switch to our assembly mode and stick that back on. There we go. And that's pretty much the job. Okay. So we need to lower it back down, and then the one thing you didn't get to see is essentially you go to your order and put a stamp on it saying the repair is done, and there you go. And I think it only lets you do that if you've actually done the job. So we've got repaired, stamp that, we get our 300 bucks, and we're on to our next order. And I think that's probably going to be about it for what I'm going to do for the coverage of this game. Obviously, I had a little bit of a bug there in the tutorial. Not that big of a deal. I know it didn't make the game look like, it didn't put it in the best light. But, it is what it is, and that was just one minor thing that is kind of easily gotten around if you're aware that that bug exists. Now, as I said, this is all it's going to, all I'm going to cover for this video. If you're really interested in seeing me continue on through this career mode, you can go ahead and leave likes and comments, saying how you feel about it. But for the most part, just as most of the other games on the Steam summer sale, I'm mostly just doing one-offs, kind of first impressions of these games, games that I thought were interesting to look at and what have you. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.